Alrighty, y'all. So today we're going to be working on a 2012 GMC Sierra 1500, and we're going to be replacing my drop shackles. Unfortunately, the one I have on my driver's side, the bushing itself kind of fell apart. It disintegrated, and the this little tube piece kind of slid out the shackle, so it's just like wobbling in its location. So whenever I'm going over bumps and things like that, I just hear a whole bunch of rattling and craziness going on. So came to the conclusion that it was my drop shackle that was causing that. So we're going to be replacing that today. Unfortunately for me, I have a tow hitch, so I have to remove that first before I'm able to remove the shackles. But I'm gonna go ahead and remove the tow hitch, and then I'll cut y'all back on. So to remove the tow hitch, you're gonna have to remove. You have a 21 millimeter here by the receiver, and then you have three. You have another 21 millimeter here, and you have these two 21 mils as well. So you got to remove these three on the sides for the tow hitch, and then you have a one by the receiver on each side. So it's 8 bolts in total to remove the tow hitch, 21 mils. Alrighty, y'all. So I chose to remove my rear tire, or my spare tire, should I say, just to help me get to the bolts. When you're doing the bolts on your tow hitch, you are going to need to put like a wrench or something up top because it will spin. So just so y'all know, y'all will need a 21 mil up top and then a 21 mil for the nut on the studs because they will spin. And then for the two bolts that I was talking about, it's this one and this one right here. They are 18 millimeters, and you have two on each side. So you got one there and one there. You have to remove those in order to loosen the bed from the frame, so you're able to slide the shackle on and off. Alrighty, y'all. So to remove the shackles, it's two bolts. So you have a 21 millimeter bolt here, and it's gonna have a 21 millimeter nut on these sides, and then same. So you just have to loosen those up, and then you're able to get the bolts out. Um, Obviously, you gotta release the pressure off the spring in order to wiggle the bolts out. So that's gonna be the next thing. But the nuts are off. So now we just gotta get the bolts out. All right. So old shackles out, new shackles are going in. Um, they will be facing this direction with the cup to the back, this to the front, and it should give me access to the grease fitting that comes with these. So hopefully, they'll last a little longer. I did have to jack up uh, the back a little bit, obviously to take the pressure off of the leaf spring in the rear. So I just put a piece of wood, put the jack stand, or not the jack stand, but the actual jack with the piece of wood, put it on the bracket that's mounted to the frame that holds the shackle in place. So just lifted it up from here till they released the tension, and I was able to slide the bolts out. Top bolt is going to be a bit of a pain in the butt because it hits on the frame. So you got to get it in the right place for it to be able to slide out. If not, it's going to hit on the frame. So then what you need to do is, as it's going up, you don't want to overdo it, because then what happens is you start pulling the shackle inward towards the frame. So you want to get it to the spot where it's just about to come out, and then after you do that, you simply want to press up on the leaf spring like so. If you press up on it, this is why you loosen up the bed. You'll push that, and then you're able to pull the screw out. Well, they're in, guys. Um, this side was a little bit more of a pain to get in. I don't know why, but They're both in now. I will say, this slot right here, the slot on the frame, and a crowbar, it's gonna be your friend when you do this. If you stick the crowbar through the frame, you can move the leaf spring up, or you can move the leaf spring down where you need it, and it helps you align the bolts. So just a little FYI. Like I said, this little slot right here, closer to the top of the leaf spring, stick your crowbar through there. You can move the leaf spring up and down and get it where you need to get it to align the bolts, to be able to slide the bolts out, slide the bolts in. This little slot right here, guys, this is going to be your best friend. This and a crowbar. If you're doing this by yourself, if you got help, even better. But just so y'all know. But they're in. They're done. Now just to put everything back.